with this kind of diverse group of people, we really wanted to delve into a couple different topics. And well, since the government is obviously seemingly always in the news for one reason or another, let's start with discussing some government entities. So specifically the FCC. So one of the things that has come up is of debate, I think, is, what power does the FCC have, or should they have, over the broadband expansion that all of us are trying to enable and facilitate? Anybody can answer.
Well, the FCC has a huge role. Historically, certainly, they are the entity that governs the policies around universal service, the Universal Service Fund, which is a revolving fund of roughly $10 billion every year. Telecommunications users pay in, and then broadband users take out, which creates a lot of problems because of mismatch between who's paying and who's getting. But the big story of the latest round of broadband funding, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, is that Congress said, actually, FCC, we're going to pass on letting you guys take any of this money. We're going to give it all to the NTIA, the National Telecommunications and Information Administration. And a lot of people saw that as a slap in the face of the FCC, in part because of the criticisms of the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund, the reverse auction they conducted for broadband deployment in 2020. So FCC is going to be involved because they are the keepers of this map, the mythic unicorn-like map that may or may not ever exist. And they've been given the keys to it for good or ill, and probably mostly for ill. And that's kind of why the FCC is going to be involved, whether we want them involved or not, in the broadband infrastructure build out.
Yeah, I'll kind of tag on to that from what Drew was saying in terms of mapping. With the BEAD money that is coming out, all of the states are getting $100 million to begin with. And the rest of their money is coming based off those FCC maps. So those maps will be used to determine what is unserved. So again, if they're inaccurate, states can challenge, but whether those challenges will be accepted, whether they'll be listened to, is another question. But they have a big impact on broadband expansion, especially right now with that BEAD money, that they will determine how much states are getting.
So I guess, Russ, though, what do you think as somebody who's running a business that has to deal with the FCC?
Yeah, I've had
the
pleasure of working on both sides of this, right, on the state policy side and now into the public or the private side. And what I see, to tag on to what everybody said already, the FCC is kind of the battle, or not a battle, it's more like a carrier, right? And it's got some flawed policies, and you can't turn those things around quickly. Some of those flawed policies have been around, what is served, and we've changed that definition in the last 3 years exponentially, and you don't just turn that carrier around on a dime and say, oh, okay, today we're going to do 25/3, now we're going to do 50 by, and then now we're going to do 100 by, right? This thing's just still trying to figure out how to get off of 6-1, right? So it's still trying to turn the corner. And so that's, I think, the biggest flaw has been that it's just hard to manipulate and change as the dynamically changing environment has been changing here. So, you do have this agency that will be in control, because they will have the map. They've got the keys, and it's been very well documented in all the new legislation that no money runs until that map is figured out, right? Whether that's flawed or not, we'll see. As a carrier now that has to respond to it, I'm encouraged that they have come to us to help make certain that map is correct, not just on what we serve and how much we serve, but exactly the locations and where they are. So we're starting to get down. My biggest thing when I was the state director of both those states, of Wyoming and Washington, was where are these locations, right? Wyoming was so spread out. You had 500,000 people, and you've got that in a high rise in downtown San Fran right now, right? But you have those over the expanse of a state. where are people? Where are those locations? How do I get to them? How do I get them served? So what I'm encouraged about now is really we're starting to drill down on location specific information. So I see it coming. The challenge will be, it's probably not coming anytime soon. There's going to be a process where we've got to vet all these locations. We as carriers or providers now are going to have to give back and say, we challenge your data because it's not right where those locations are. Because I'm going to tell you right now, I've got an inside look at all this because I'm a provider and we've gotten the data already. And that data is not good. This first run of data is garbage, right? So we've got a lot of locations that just don't exist. And so we're having to go through that now and vet it ourselves. So